Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
Andrew Bartholomew Fettes, what the bloody hell are you doing?
I'm enjoying a little tea break, a little cup of tea before we start, as per.
Yeah, well, no, I sort of get that, and don't
Right.
worry, I've got a nice cold pint ready to go, and the emphasis being nice cold. How the Jesus, can you drink a hot drink on a hot day? It's 900 degrees outside, possibly 910. I haven't checked. What? Yeah.
I've got the windows open. I've got a lovely cool breeze blowing across the sofa of dreams, and you can't get more refreshing than it. Well, you can, but I mean, I do enjoy not a refreshing cup of tea, mate. You know,
you can a nice cold beer.
Drewling Samantics mug, my friend. Eh?
That's fine, but put some ice in it or something. I don't know. But anyway, how are you, mate? Cheers. Good to see you.
I'm all right, thank you, mate. Yeah. No, I'm just having a little refresh. I've got a self-tape to record later on, so I'll keep a clear head. So I've just learnt the script, so I'm keeping a clear head. And then when I've done that, when that's in the bag and off, we transferred or whatever, Dropbox to whoever, then I'll have a beer. Then I'll be in a beer.
It's there's a slight irony to it, isn't there? That on a day like this, you wouldn't mind being outside so much, and the travelling wouldn't be so bad. And it's the audition you've got to do is a bloody self tape, so you
you got to sit inside, with lights on, etc., etc. But there you go.
Yeah. Whereas I had an audition earlier, and I actually got to venture outside and walk to a. I mean, I had to get on the tube, and Jesus Christ, I mean. Fortunately, it was Piccadilly line, and Piccadilly line's not too bad.
Not too bad.
The characters are all right, but Central line in this weather, can you imagine? Like a bloody
sticky and nasty, mate. But you've been to a face-to-face audition. I mean, these are a rarity these days.
Someone had to look at this thing and bear with it, but But yeah. Anyway, we should stop talking about tubes and things like that because we're alienating anyone that doesn't live in London. Well, no, we're not. People understand, but yeah. Anyway, so self-tape to do, but busy week, mate.
Bits and bobs. Yeah, it's a calm after all our events. So it's a nice gentle week this week. I've got some admin and paperwork and stuff to do at home, so I've been doing that. I've done a couple of self-tapes before this one. So yeah, middling to busy, but sort of that thing where you restart everything again. So you catch up a little bit and then restart. I mean, I know you're running around everywhere at the moment, so
it's almost like we're playing rugby, and you've had the ball for a couple of weeks, and
yours to run with now.
Finally offloaded it. Now so audition, and then I've got modelling coming up, a couple of days worth of modelling, and then in between I've got rehearsals for staff and other jobs on, and the next 2 or 3 weeks, mate, I am flat out, and for the record, I am not complaining. I'm pleased to be busy. I'm pleased to be working.
It's nice, isn't it? It really is lovely. Yeah.
I would really like, though, for the big theatre god in the sky, or the head of light entertainment, as it would be referred to at the BBC. But just to go, right, do you know what? No, work, then break, then work, then break, then work. Not break. Break now, making you a little bit concerned that you've been on a break for quite a while. Work. I'm not complaining, but
it is like buses, isn't it, mate? It's like buses. They all come at once, or you stand there, twiddling your fingers. But I mean, I've been busy. Now I pass the ball to you. Run with it, my friend. I'm going to have a little bit of a chill and not so much a chill, but slow down a little bit. Yeah. But which has given me chance to have a little look at the theatre news.
Oh, very good. What have we got? What's the latest thing?
Well, I'm just going to refer to my good bit of news for stage managers, actors, performers in the West End.
Yeah.
This is something we don't often get to say, but they have secured a pay rise. Good old Equity and Society of London Theatres, SALT, as it's affectionately known, They have agreement over the next 2 years of 16% pay rise spread over 2 years. So that's between 2023 and 2026, I believe, or 24 and 26.
Yeah.
So yes, so 16%. It's not huge, but anything that helps performers,
It's
got to
more
be
than
good.
nothing, isn't it? And what we've got to hope is that this is almost like the yardstick, or this is the beginning of the movement, and that it will cascade down to other areas. Because now, again, it's a risky business talking money, because for a lot of people, they would probably look at what we do and go, well, you've got a glorified hobby, so you can't piss and moan. But as we've talked about, and in fact, Hannah made a point last week, didn't she? Something that we've said before, during lockdown, without streaming sites and things like that, where would everyone have been? Well, stuck,
absolutely,
watching paint dry, literally. So as much as we're lucky that we have a lot of fun on our job, and it does, a lot of the time, it does look like, what the bloody hell are you doing? How can you call that work? It is essential. It really is important for well-being and mental health and various.
Also, if you think of, I mean, we are talking, as you say, hopefully this will trickle down to provinces and smaller theatres, touring theatres, etc. I hope that's but I mean, the West End is responsible for making quite a few multimillionaires, but also.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, particularly now this time of the year when we're seeing tourists, it's a big tourist attraction. Like Broadway in America. I mean, if you come to London, you will more than likely, you'll go around St. Paul's and you'll walk across the bridges and you'll have a look at the Houses of Parliament and Buckingham Palace, etc., etc., etc. You will more than likely book tickets to go to see one or more West End shows.
Yeah.
Of which there are stunning shows in the West End now. We've got some amazing, amazing shows, wonderful performers. And simply because of what they bring in, income-wise, and the taxes that they pay, their employers pay, etc. I don't think 16% over 2 years is over the top, particularly when it's 60% increase on not huge wages anyway.
No, exactly. So
I mean, your average actor in the West End, your average actor, I'm not talking about the names, that is something completely different, but your average actor in the West End is probably not earning any more than a school teacher, and nurses, who, by the way, I think probably should have an increase as well. That's another subject. But I mean, if you think about it, 16% of not a lot of money is not a lot of money, and they are. It is a big tourist attraction. It's, it brings revenue in all year. So,
you could argue, couldn't you? And I'm sure other nations who are potentially listening in will disagree, but the West End and Broadway are probably the two spots for theatre. Like, everyone has theatre to an extent, but if you're talking about sort of the big players, the two main areas that are talked about globally for theatre are London's West End and Broadway in New York. So it is an enormous player, and it does provide a big, as you say, things like taxes and the money as a tourism industry. And it's created careers. It's taken people all over the place. It's done amazing things, and I think it does wonders for people's mental health as well. A way to get away, something to do, a hobby, something to and when we didn't have it, the world was at a loss. So,
I mean, if like you say, I mean, the West End and Broadway, global sales and sending shows out and tours, taking that entertainment value and the benefits thereof around the world, and giving actors in other countries, taking West End shows, Broadway shows to Europe, to Australia, and touring America and wherever. A lot of people are getting good incomes, good careers, and great entertainment. So the benefits are enormous.
We mentioned Harry Potter, the play, a little while ago, and when that started, it was just over here. It was only in the UK for obvious reasons. It's J.K. Rowling's creation, and she wanted to start over here, and it is based on English or certainly UK stories. But now I believe it's in 10, 12 different countries.
That was extraordinary, isn't it?
It's just mental, absolutely mental how it's grown. But yes, so the point is, everyone is struggling financially, and there are lots and lots of vocations that deserve a pay rise, haven't had one for a long time. But this is a very important thing as well. Very glad that it's happened. As said, it'd be nice if people start sort of reacting off the back of this. I mean, I'd love one day, and then it sounds like a bit of a moan, but this is a genuine fact. I'd love one day to be able to go onto the casting sites and know that whatever jobs that I'm suitable for or come up, I don't have to go, I literally can't consider that because I'd be making a lot.
I can't afford it. Yeah.
Which back to front. And yes, if you're looking at perhaps student productions, it's a slightly different thing, or passion projects. But we do seem to be down the bottom of the pile. No one ever considers asking for a camera crew to work for free, or they wouldn't expect a venue to let them just come in. They know they'd have to pay for that. So where has this thing come from that actors are the lowly and are expendable? And it's not just actors. And actually, a weird roundabout way, this isn't a segue, but it's something that I've just been reminded. And this will be familiar to you. I'm sure you will have seen it. A few years ago, a supermarket, and I am not going to specify, but a supermarket went viral for all the wrong reasons. They printed an advert.
With you now. Yeah.
Yeah, you know where this is going. Basically saying, we've got this incredible opportunity for somebody to make a name for themselves, is kind of where they were going with it. But I actually found it because it was 5 or 6 years ago, I think, but it pops up sort of. I see it.
It does, yes.
And it does make. So I'm just going to quote a couple of bits because, and this is going somewhere because there is a response. So it was supermarket, insert name here, are looking for an artist to volunteer their skills. That was their headline of the advert. And it goes on to say, looking for a creative and ambitious artist to voluntarily refurbish our canteen. We want to make a comfortable area for our employees to escape to. Why not put your skills into action? We're giving you an opportunity to build your career, develop your reputation. We're looking for someone to bring their own style, to transform our canteen into an environment that allows creativity and inner peace. I'm enjoying this now. It's going to get out of hand, isn't it? The design should give employees an atmosphere to look forward to and emphasize on the relaxation that we want them to feel here in our store. No qualifications or experience required. We're simply intrigued and excited about the uniqueness you can offer us. And it finished up by saying, happy colleagues offer great service and continued success. Your work will contribute to our success. Why would you? Your work will contribute to our success.
Right, yeah.
And then get your work recognised, share your gift, leave your mark, doing what you love and do best. Now, I'm sure it was meant in a nice way. I'm sure it was like they were trying to sort of go, this is a positive thing, but that is essentially asking someone to work for free. And this is a multi-billion pound company who have hundreds of stores.
Yeah.
They're asking. So the story there, like, obviously that upset a lot of people because that's basically going, well, we could afford to bring someone in, but we'd rather get it done for free, and we're going to hide that behind saying it's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
And it links to what we do, because how often do you see a casting come up that says, unfortunately, we cannot pay, but this will be a great experience. I can't fucking pay my rent with experience.
No, I can't pay my rent with a good opportunity. No. That'll bring you money in.
My mortgage, and electricity bill, and blah, blah, I can't pay them in experiences. They like pounds. Hundreds of pounds, most of them. But anyway, so So yeah, and it's starting to get a little bit better maybe, and these things like pay rises are helping. However, back to supermarket.
Is there a
was
response?
There was a fantastic response in basically the same format, the font, and the way it is set out. And the title of this one was "Artists are looking for a supermarket to volunteer their skills. Artists are looking for a well-stocked supermarket to voluntarily restock our kitchens. Gain experience in the food industry while satisfying our need to feed ourselves and live comfortably. We're looking for a diverse supermarket. We encourage suppliers of food from all ethnic cuisines." So the supermarket said, we don't mind what ethnicity, we encourage diversity. Doesn't matter, you're still asking for someone for free. So obviously this has taken every point they've made and turned it back. Why not put your skills into action? Artists are giving you one opportunity to build your customer base, develop your reputation through the creative community. We're looking for you to bring your own style to transform our kitchen shelves into an environment that allows positivity and inner peace through the scopes of being able to feed ourselves. I'm just trying. The new delivery should give artists an atmosphere to look forward to and emphasise on the idea that they don't have to work on an empty stomach. No qualifications or experience required. We're simply intrigued and excited about the free stuff you can give us.
Oh, that's brilliant.
As freelancers, artists are proud to represent a diverse skill set with which you can benefit from. Happy artists offer great works and continued success. Get your brand recognised. Share your goods with the heart of creativity. Leave your mark by doing what you love and do best. So, a point well made. Like,
brilliantly done. Brilliantly done.
Yeah, really. And as I say, I'm not going to name because it was a little while ago, and I believe they did apologise. But the point I'm making is this pops up every now and again. It makes you laugh because of the response, but it shouldn't make you laugh because it's a reality. This particular example is a while ago and was a particularly bad one. And actually, do you remember we talked about Tesco? And I've named them because we specifically said it before, where they offered Tesco points for doing the voiceover on their checkouts, didn't they?
That's right, yeah.
And I mean, people may not know, voiceover is a very, very wide area of our industry, financially speaking. You can do jobs that pay an hourly rate of 10, 15 quid an hour, but you can also do jobs for higher end stuff, which can be 500, £1,000 an hour. Like, it depends entirely on what it is, and then you've got
repeat fees, buyouts, goodness knows what else. So it's very lucrative,
hugely lucrative. And if you look at that Tesco example, and I'm sorry, Tesco, I'm not flagging you out deliberately, but you were the only ones that did this for your checkouts. This other supermarket I haven't mentioned because it was quite a while ago and it's something different. It was an example, but if they'd approached a voiceover artist, that voiceover artist would have expected easily, I would say, 4 figures, if not 5, for the job at hand. And they were offering, was it 10,000 points, which was the equivalent of 100 quid?
100 quid.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant.
We see it all the time. I mean, I this week alone, I've seen a couple of adverts which I thought, I could go for that. And it says, fee includes buyout in perpetuity across the universe, which is basically their way of saying this money we're giving you means we can do whatever we like with it forever. Yeah. And the fee is normally a couple of hundred quid, which I'm not sniffing at a couple of hundred quid because it's a lot of money. But that is something that should be a couple of thousand, a couple of tens of thousand, realistically, depending on the company and where it's going. And there's so many variables.
It's always that in perpetuity. It's like, okay, if they said this is a limited budget, and we're gonna, but that's basically for your 200 quid, we bought you. That's it. Yeah. Sign your soul away. Sign your rights, your intellectual rights to whatever you're going to create in perpetuity. It's like if they said, okay, 5 years, you go, all right, 5 years. I need the money, or blah blah blah. How much is it going to be? But when it's in perpetuity, and that what people fail to take notice of is sometimes that can prevent you from doing other adverts or other commercial work within that sector. There are people that I know have done some stills work, and they, they've advertised a watch. They've advertised a watch. There we are, sitting there, and they've got paid 500 quid. But that's been bought. That image has been bought for in perpetuity. But they can't work for any other watch company ever.
No, exactly.
Because they've made that for that company.
Yeah, there are lots of complications, lots of variables that come into play, and lots of things that affect these things. But a long way around the houses of saying it's really good that certain areas are starting to say we need to be paid for what we're doing and paid properly.
Yeah,
lovely to see that as I said, cascade down to some of the film stuff. I don't want to keep going online and going, oh, what is it, £72 a day for 10 to 12 hours work, and you think that's technically below minimum wage, and actually what you're getting for that is far more work because of the preparation that goes into it and the all that sort of stuff and the limitations and various other things. But it is a positive.
This is about there's one little spin-off from that, is that when you mention that, then remuneration. How many words can you think of, when you see these adverts, like for different words for not being paid terribly much? I mean, there's remuneration. Sometimes you get payments. Stipend is another one. Offering.
Yeah.
Expenses. There are so many words. Contribution. Yes. It's like, really? It just means you're not paying very much, doesn't it? It's whenever I see a word that doesn't say, payment or salary or fee, I go, right. The stipend is negotiable. The stipend is bloody pathetic, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
Or the you often get offered an IMDb credit.
Yes, that's the other one. Yeah.
Go, oh, that's great. You're like, yeah, but you can add those yourself. If you
can add those yourself, yeah. Also, costs you £20 a month to access them. So
it's
like,
anyway. Let's I'm going to change the subject almost completely. We're talking about positives because we don't want to go off on another rant because we do that far too often. But I had a lovely opportunity the other day to have a beer or two with a rather good friend of ours, Mr. Harry Boyd.
Good old
Harry.
Marvelous stuff.
Do you know, it was lovely to catch up with him. I haven't seen him for such a long time. And this industry is weird because we talk all the time about how massively competitive it is and how there are so many people that do our job and then not enough jobs for those people. But equally, and I'm using this a different to normal definition of the word, it's quite an incestuous industry where everyone sort of knows each other and you come across people wrong phrase there, Sam. You end up working with people that you haven't worked with for a while.
Pinging to people.
Yes. And people work with other people and you're like, well, how do you know that? And so Harry, I hadn't seen for a long time, but he just happens to be on a new show and fabulous show. He is currently doing Winnie the Pooh, and as a puppeteer and playing pretty much all the characters I think we were chatting about when we caught up. And it made me think, what little positives can we flag out there for some of the people that we've had on the show, just to flag those up, but equally the connections there, because he mentioned someone that I'd worked with. I can't remember who it was, but he mentioned someone I'd worked with previously and had no idea that he knew, and there were all these sort of connections going on. It meant that there's another connection which we'll go into in a minute, because I mentioned this to you a little while ago because we both sort of saw it flag up. So Harry's currently doing Winnie the Pooh. He was in London with the show and now it's touring. He's just going from strength to strength, and we could not be happier for him. He was a fantastic guest. He's a good friend, and he's a brilliant performer. But yeah, like I said, it made me think, and we should definitely flag a couple of things. And we've been lucky enough to have loads of guests on the show, and we'd be here for weeks and weeks if we went on about everyone. But equally, we should also reflect some of those big things that have happened to people that we haven't spoken to for a little while and sort of go, well done to them and congratulations and whatever. So one I definitely wanted to mention quickly, Rhys Kerridge, who we had on a couple of weeks ago, wasn't that long?
Couple of weeks, yeah.
Congratulations to him, because he did his first SpongeBob. He's in SpongeBob the musical, and we were talking with him about the fact that he was understudy, and he did have to do the understudy role recently, and it
was his week off, and he was having to learn it, wasn't he? Because we talked to him in his week off,
and he did bloody learn it because he went on. Fantastic. I actually made a couple more notes about some.
Brilliant.
So Dave Bibby, good friend of yours, a fantastic comedian. He's touring with his brand new show, which he was talking about writing, I think, when we had him on the show. So Baby Dinosaur is touring now. Just go to Dave Bibby's website to find out where.
I'm sure he'll be going up to Edinburgh with that as well as touring with it. So I mean, the thing about but comics and people like that, they Dave's churning out new shows all the time, one every year. It's not. It's great for us. We just tour and stuff, and it's already written. But Dave creates stuff, as do a lot of our guests. The comedians we've had on. But he's writing a new show every season and working on that and taking it out. So Baby Dinosaur. If anyone gets to see Dave Bibby, a very, very funny man, and good luck to him. Well done, mate.
A big congrats to Sam Quested, who has just completed, I think, the West End run of Bonnie and Clyde, which his production company were putting together, and I think that's now going on a tour. So that's a big one, because it's all the things we're talking about on the show, and then they sort of happen.
They certainly there's it. I got this. I got to say, in line with that, I heard from Amy Forrest.
Yeah.
Now Amy, she popped up on Instagram and Facebook and everything. She's been going from strength to strength because I think she was in Small Island at the National when we spoke to her going into that, because that got held up by the unwelcome guest, and then she went back into it, and then she did Manor, and so she's been back and forth to the National. They love her and good for her. I think she's cropped up again in Coronation Street. She's a semi-regular in that, but just started is a new series, the Sister Boniface Mysteries, and Amy crops up in that. So do watch that.
Yeah.
I missed it, but I'm going to catch up with it on catch up. But she's another lady who works extremely hard.
Yeah, and it's a big example, isn't it? That all our guests are so incredibly talented, but they're also always working and justifying the pay rises that we're hoping to get across the board, not just in the West End. But So I mean, people like you mentioned other comedians. We had Joz Norris on. Joz's new show Blink, I think, has been out for a little while, and he's recording that and touring that. Who else did we have? Charlie Freeman's got a new album out.
Wow.
I think that's just about to release, and then he's going to tour with that. Reese Daniel, we had Reese on. He was a mental on the show. This is the only way of describing it, really. I think he was out in Bulgaria doing some filming, so he's got some stuff, and he's got that show coming out on Netflix. He was talking about.
Lord.
It's just, we're so lucky to have had all these talented people, and equally they're working so hard that they are still doing things. I mean, probably, I was going to say the biggest example of it, not that it's a competition, but Mr. Darren Tassel, our first ever guest on the show, when he came on, he talked about V Show Cards, which is his and his business partner, Alex Reese, I think his name is. Forgive me if that's pronounced wrong. They created basically another platform for casting and to put everything together called V Show Cards, and that has absolutely exploded. I mean, we're talking 2 and a bit years on from when we last spoke to Darren, but it's just gone from strength to strength to strength, and it's across, so many people across the industry now use it, and it's so well recognized. And I think it's a brilliant example of that graft, and just really, when you love what you do and when you really have a passion for something, you will keep working at it, and the success stories come from there, don't they? They found not so much a gap in the market, but they broadened something that was already there. And I mean, V Show Cards is fabulous because if nobody knows about it, it's a platform on which you can put all your credits, IMBD that we just mentioned, voice reels, show reels, CV, photographs. It's a one-stop shop that people can drop into, and you can send links to it. So as an actor, it's wonderful. You don't have to have a website of your own. No. You just send that, and it is all there. It is so useful, so easy, quick to update. And when he first started, Darren was enormously helpful. He was great to guide. I mean, when I joined V Show Cards, he helped me. He said, put that on there, do that, shape it like this, it looks like that. So he was sharing his experience. And I have to say, he still does that now. I mean, he is an incredibly busy man. I'm sure I read on social media that he's just, and Darren, if you're watching, forgive me if I get this wrong, but I think he's just secured his 8th film role of the year, like back-to-back film. I mean, the guy's incredible, so it's not a shock, but he must be exhausted. But yeah, so and he still, where he can, will find the time to talk to people, and he still does sort of like seminars and chats and helps people. But that goes without saying for everyone we've had on. They are all still incredibly successful. Oh, go on, you're going to give an example.
I was just going to say, remember we had Sam Clemens on, who spoke about his father and about, and he's got Take the Shot. They entered the competition, the 48-hour film challenge, made a wonderful, I don't know how you would describe it, Tarantino-esque. Nice. It was a brilliant Bad Day to Propose. It's a fantastic piece of filmmaking. It was made in one shot as well. Watch it. It is incredible piece of filmmaking. Brief though it may be, it's probably one of the best pieces of filmmaking you'll see, for a long while. That had a screening at the BFI. Take the Shot of going from strength to strength to strength. So, remember who your friends are, Sam, because, we could do with a bit of work. But I mean,
remember where you were when we were first chatting to you, all you people.
Yeah, all you people out there.
All these people progressing, Drew, and we're still here.
Yeah, well, we like this. We're good at this.
There's nowhere I'd rather be, mate. Nowhere I'd rather be, I tell you.
You fibber.
Well, I don't know. Outside currently, because it's that warm.
It's that warm, yeah.
So essentially, why I wanted to mention things is because we talk about how connected the industry is and how hard we all work, and about these pay rises and things. But the level of hard work doesn't stop. It continues and continues and continues. And whether the money coming in is justifiably fair or whether it's lower than it should be or whatever, we don't give up. And you can look at that like the NHS. They carry on working regardless, working their hardest. Yes, there are strikes and things like that, but it's to get people to sit up and notice. And we kind of understand that. And I think lots of industries are fighting back. The government perhaps need to do a bit more about the big players, the energy companies and perhaps the people I won't mention, but big vendors who have websites that maybe you can order stuff and they pay zero tax and stuff like that. Look at those of us, whether we're in life-saving careers like the ambulance service or people in the NHS, or whether we're in the feel-good area, but equally or close to equally as essential to make people feel good and give people that release and that positivity like performers. Look at what's important and look at those that are struggling and those that will continue to work hard regardless. And all these guests we've had on, incredible people, highly talented people who continue to go from strength to strength in their careers. Let's reward them. Let's recognize what all these incredible people do. I just think it's...
Yeah. No, I think it's a very good point, very well made, Sam. I mean, I think I'm not going to add to that because I think you put it eloquently.
Thank you, mate.
And very nicely. Yeah.
We're building up to you saying something mean to me at some point, whether it's today or another.
No, seriously. I think that was very good point, very well made, mate. So
one thing I will quickly dial back to, I was talking about the incestuous nature of the business, or the fact that everyone knows everyone and connections. There was just one little thing, and we were talking about this, and not on the air or on screen or whatever you want to call it earlier, just because it just made me smile. We were talking about Erin Geraghty, weren't we?
We were.
Lovely friend of yours, and she was on the show with her husband, Paul Lavers. Brilliant couple, very talented performers, both of them. And it popped up. She was doing a show. What? Sorry, I've forgotten the name of the show, but you know it, don't you?
Breadth. It was Breadth, and it was at the Omnibus Theatre. Yes, the Omnibus Theatre.
To show the width of the industry and the connections. So you worked with Erin many years ago and known her for a long time.
Yeah,
she did this show, Breadth. As part of that show was a fantastic performer named Kareem, and he, for long-term viewers of Drewling Samantics, will be recognisable because when I was doing a show in Watford, he was one of the guys, part of the cast, who I got to speak to then. And I interviewed him. So they've been doing a show together. But just to add an extra level on top of that, another one of the performers who was working with them, a lovely lady named Suzanne Gendel, she worked with both of us with immersive dinner theatre. But I also did some voiceover work with her. I must have been beginning of the year, I think, or last year, because we talked about it on the show. But there are three people that we've between us worked with in very different areas. two of whom who have featured on the show somehow. But it's just that weird connection, that weird connectivity, and doing very different things as well. Like, it's not like, oh, well, you're bound to meet each other because you're both doing Shakespeare. These are very different.
No, they're completely different. I mean, it is a huge family. I mean, I going back to, the open air theatre this year and having performed there last year, meeting people I haven't met for a year. We've heard of each other, but we haven't worked. You meet up again, you go, wow. And you just pick up where you left off. I mean, and it is a family. It's of necessity because we need to make those connections very quickly so we can carry on working and get the job done. We had a very short rehearsal period, so there has to be, in essence, a shorthand. But it is also that thing of we know each other, and it's such a small world, such a small family. And as you say, we are always helping each other. We're always trying to promote and perform and give each other work and guidance, particularly people like Darren Tassel, that go above and beyond. But that's what the business is about,
It is.
But we still want paying, we still want paying.
No, we still want paying. But I have to say, I really like the fact that you use the word family, because I think that does sum it up. Because as much as a lot of the time we're in competition with other people, we also look out for each other. And there I can think of numerous occasions where either I've got a job or been connected to someone by someone putting my name forward, or vice versa. I've managed to get someone into a position. And that's what it's all about. Yes, at the end of the day, you want to get the roles for yourself, but when you see an opportunity to help someone else out, of course you're going to do it. Why wouldn't you? So
why wouldn't you? It's too hard not to, isn't it?
No, exactly. And what a lovely way to sort of come to a close. We've talked about many different things, positives in pay and hopeful future positives. We've talked about some of the lovely guests we had on what they're doing now, and just because we haven't mentioned certain guests doesn't mean they're not. Everyone is doing incredible examples. But I say the word guest again because next week we've got a guest again. How about that?
I like that. Well done. Yeah. A fabulous guest next week. Yeah.
Looking forward to some conversations there. And of course, mate, looking forward to chatting to you again next week. Why wouldn't you?
Be a pleasure. Be a pleasure, Sam.
When you're being as nice to me as you have done today. No, I don't know what.
I think it's the heat. I've got a heat stroke. I'm gonna go up and have a cold beer, and calm down.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish mine and call it a day, I think. So
nice one, mate. Nice one.
Pleasure to see you. And as always, ladies, gents, wherever you might be, thank you for tuning into Drewling Samantics.
Thank you.
Come back next week. We'll have another guest.
Lovely stuff. Take care, Sam.
Cheers all.
Take care, everyone.
Bye. Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.